Hello there, Jeff. Thank you for watching this video. I will try to explain very quickly, briefly, and try to get to the point as much as I can on how I can help you. I have been doing some research. I honestly have not forgot about you. And the truth is, I possibly explained on the phone that I don't believe the initial route that I was going to take to helping you would be any good. Essentially what I was doing was called pay-per-click, and over here I'm on Google, and essentially I was using these this part here, which is basically paid advertisement. So every time someone clicks on one of these, the companies get charged. It's very high competition at the moment, and to be honest, I don't think this is going to be a good route for you, simply because by the time you're paying for the ad for you to get a customer, and then you pay my fee, I don't think you're going to be really too happy with the price. You know, I think if you're charging £60 and this ends up costing you, say, 20, on the worst case scenario £35 for a lead, and then you're paying me, say, £20–30 in terms of monthly fees, but you know, per lead it'll probably work out about £20–30. You're not really going to be making any money, so that's not going to be worth it to you, and I don't want to waste your time, your money, or anything. So I've been trying to you know, going through some things online just to see where I can help you, and obviously there is a clear answer for me on how I can really be of service to you, how I can get you some more jobs. I know that you're you know, you could do with some more work. I'm sure during the summer months you could do with a lot more work. So I've done some research into your area, the general Basingstoke area, and I've noticed that you guys don't seem to have a website. I've looked hard and I can't find one, and I think this is where I'm going to be very helpful to you. I would explain that I don't just build a website. What I really do is I get a website for you to rank on Google. It's very different to what you've probably been pitched before. I'm not here to just build you out a website. In fact, in this video I'm going to explain what really makes me different to a lot of people in this area, and essentially my job is to get you up here. So as Google, I'm going to explain briefly how Google really works. As I'm sure you know, Google's massively used. If people need a plumber, they possibly either know you already, or possibly they're referred to you. They could go and check a trade, as I'm sure you know, or of course a lot of people just put in something like Basingstoke plumber into Google. This is very common. I'm sure you probably do it yourself if you need a service or anything. People are just looking for a local plumber, and the people that are at the top, they get all the work, pretty much. People don't really scroll down. I'm sure you've next to never, you know, gone over to like page 3 on Google and gone, hey, I'll use this guy. You know, you always just use the people at the top. These people get all the business. So my job is to get you up here, and this is done in a very specific way. I have a very systemized way of doing it, from everything from building the website to more behind the scenes things, which I'm going to be discussing with you right now. So this is one of your competitors, Tony Green. He's here in Google at number 2. Number 1's Check a Trade. I won't go into this too much, but this doesn't really worry me at all. Essentially, Google would prefer this to actually be a company, but because your competitors aren't doing the world's best job, Google's kind of forced to put Check a Trade ahead of them. I won't go into that too much, but I'm going to stick to your competitors, because this is the competition I'm really going head to head with if you choose to take me on. I could really spend hours explaining ways that I could improve on this website. It isn't really done greatly for many reasons. I'm going to go through a few of them right now. So The biggest thing that I'd say that these guys are letting themselves down on is the amount of content that's actually on this page. Google love content. Essentially, Google want the website to be good for the end consumer, and Google have algorithms to determine which website will come up higher and beat the other websites. Basically, so whatever term you put into Google then analyze all the websites, and they determine which website is going to outrank the other websites. So in terms of this website, one of the ways that they will do that is by the content that's on the page and how relevant that content is. So the amount of content and how relevant the content is. So if I just show you an example, if you put into Google Michael Jackson, it doesn't really matter about Michael Jackson, but Wikipedia comes up very high. And the reason for it is because of the amount of content. There is tons and tons and tons of content, and it really does not matter that I'm putting in Michael Jackson. You could put in a lot of different terms. Here I just did cheese, and you can see again it's right at the top, and it's just because of all the content. You can do this test yourself. You can just put in basic things into Google, and I'm sure you've noticed before, Wikipedia comes up very high. It's because of all the content. It's very thorough. It's very relevant for what the customer wants to find. There's also other things that they use on here. A few of them are highlights. There are links going around. There are many stuff that they use, but mainly it's the amount of content. As you can see here, there is not a lot of content. Not that I would be doing as much content as Wikipedia, but to be honest, the homepage, for example, I'd have about 1,000 words. That's what I would do. Basically, I have one strong strategy, which is my main thing, and I'm kind of jumping the gun saying this, but I do want to explain. There are many things that I could say in this website that could be improved. Each one of them, I beat your competition. I outdo your competition, each one of them. So I'm going to go for a few of them now. This is another one. He's on the top first page of Google again. So his website is here. Now, so again, there are things on here that I could improve. Again, there's not that much content. There's another thing here. He says welcome to. This is, in fact, so one of the things that Google do is, as I said, they have ways to determine which website is going to come out at number one, and another way they do it is they read from left to right, going through the website for relevant things. And the first thing that Google are going to read is "We are closed for Christmas." That is not really good. And even when this is gone, the first thing they're going to read is "Welcome to." It's not relevant for Google. Google want to see something like either company name or plumber in Basingstoke. It's essentially a misunderstanding. A lot of people don't really know this stuff. So I'm going to carry on through your competitions. Again, welcome to. There's not a lot of content. The other thing that I'll go through is that these guys have not really got what's called mobile friendly websites. So if I come over here again to Google want mobile friendly websites because most people today are using their mobiles to search for companies. In fact, it's about 60% of searches on Google are using the mobile phones, leaving computers and tablets for like the remaining 40%. So the vast majority is mobile phones, and this website is not mobile phone friendly. It doesn't adjust for a mobile phone. You can't click the phone number. It also, there's a lot of things I could really go into. I'm trying to be respectful of your time, so I'm not going to go into things too much like that. This is another one of your competition. Again, not a great deal of content. To be honest, the website is actually a little bit confusing, but the main thing, I mean, I'm not really, it's a bit hard for me to kind of explain this all to you, because normally, I'd go to a client's website and I'd say how I could help that specific website, what I would change. I'm kind of doing this through your competition, but your competition isn't doing the world's best job, and I believe I could definitely beat them on the website front. So I'd build you out a full website from scratch, and you would own the website. I wouldn't have any ownership on it. You'd own the URL, which is essentially the www. whatever your address wanted to be, .co.uk. That you would own. I'd just build you out a very strong website, and then once you have a website, the next thing that I'd be doing is going into something called backlinking. And this is where I really don't want to overly complicate things, but essentially your Google, one of the big things Google will take into consideration when ranking a website is essentially how many votes that website has online, which I'll explain in a second, and how trustworthy that vote is. So I'm sure you've heard of backlinking before, and backlinking is, if I take this website for example, backlinking would be other websites sending links to this website. So another website would have this guy's URL is tonygreenplumbing.co.uk. So tonygreenplumbing.co.uk would be on another website pointing to this website. So people from that website could click the link and then come onto this website. And Google says, hey, this other website is sending people to this website, so this website must be very good. So then they jack up their results. Google consider you to be a good website. Okay, does that make sense? So the other thing that makes it extremely powerful is when that website is a very authoritative website. So not that it's just another website sending a link to this website, but the original website is very powerful. So for example, if you had a website that's very well known, that's been around for a long time, let's just say if you had a website from is a different industry, but let's just say if you had a website from Next, or from, I don't know, River Island, I'm choosing Clove Industries, but if you had a website, if you had a link from some of these very powerful companies, then that'd be so much more powerful than you just having a link from a very unknown website, right? Does that make sense? That's a much more powerful. The other thing which makes it a lot more, which is basically the misunderstanding in terms of backlinks, because I know what you're thinking right now. You might be thinking, well, can't I just have links from Facebook come into the website because it's a very known company, well-known company. Obviously, you've got Twitter and everything, and then they're sending you links. Well, that doesn't really work because Facebook have something built into their website, which is it basically makes the link what's called a non-follow, which essentially takes away all the juice from that link. And again, I'm trying not to get too complicated on this, but really what you want is a link to be sending to you in what's called a do follow. A do follow will basically give your website a lot of trust. So here for these guys, which I've got here, this is their website, and this is a tool I use called Majestic. It costs about £100 a month for me to use it, and it's absolutely fantastic. It really lets me spy on your competition and really helps me understand what to do to get you more business. So, and this is all to do with backlinking. And what this is over here you can see something called citation flow, and this is basically a score ranking for backlinks they've had. Over here is something called trust flow. They don't have any trust flow, and the reason for this is they have pretty much misunderstood the whole backlinking, what really gives the juice to backlinking. So this is actually, even though they've got, look at all these links they've got tons of links, but they haven't got any trust. This is the biggest misunderstanding in Google. I won't explain all this. This is a bit more complicated, but the good news is this website is here, and they have misunderstood so much of how backlinking really works. And if I go through your competition, this is for this website right here. This is theirs, plumbingandblazingstoke.co.uk. I don't know why they've got a different URL, but that's what they've decided to do. To be honest, the URL doesn't influence it much. The plumbing in Basingstoke, it helps ever so slightly, but it's not that important really. But you can see again, citation flow is up at 17. They've got all these backlinks, but no trust flow. There's no trust. I go through the list to the next website, and again, this is them, and there's no trust again. They've got all these links, but no trust. You know, and I go on. Here we go. Another one of your competitors. No trust. And again, another one of your competitors. This one is I don't even like. This is a very poor website. Look how much content they have. This is a very, very poor website. There's also no other pages. This is very poor. I could easily beat this website. And again, unsurprisingly, that there is no trust. Lots of links, but no trust. They're very low quality links, really. And I could go on this part for hours again, but essentially I just wanted to explain a bit of the backlink inside. I'm sure it's something that you've heard about before, but it is a massively misunderstood part of website building. So you're probably wondering how, sorry, I'm going back and forth a little bit, how you get trust. And I have a very specific strategy that I use to get trust. I could go into detail. It is complex. I'll briefly say, essentially what I do is I buy old websites that already have trust in them, but they've expired. I buy them, I build out the website again. This does cost me money. I have to maintain the website, keep it up and running and everything, but then I direct that website to you. There are a few ways you can do this, but that's the way that I do it. It's in my opinion the most strongest, it gives me the most control, and this would give your website what's called trust flow. That's the strategy that I use, and this should definitely outrank your competition. It will not happen overnight though. Google does like to take its time with sorting all this out. It could be very quick, it could take a few months. To be honest, it could well take 6 months. I don't think it would take as long as, say, 9 months to a year. I highly doubt that. But I think it would be wise to realise this could well take 4 to 6 months or so to get up here. The other part that I'd be doing is this little box in here, which is the maps. And the higher you get up on the organic search, the more it would influence where you are in the maps. For example, this guy here, I believe is, yeah, here. And this website is the plumbing in Basingstoke, which is here. Okay, so he's number 3 up here, and if I click on it, you'll see, just to prove, because I know you can't quite see the URL up here, but if I click on it, there you go, there he is, and he is ranked at number 1 up there. And then right here you've got Tony Green. Right here you've got Tony Green. The reason they're here is because they're high up in the organic searches. And there are other things that influence this. So the reason one of the things you're probably wondering, well, hang on, he's below this guy, so why is he above this guy up here? Well, it probably has something to do with the fact that he's got 5-star versus he's only got 4.7. That probably does influence it, but there are other things that will influence it at all, how well this is all built out. And there's another thing which could well influence it, which I'm not going to go into too much in this video, but it's called citation. Your citations, not to be confused with what I said earlier with citation flow. This is a different thing. Citations are essentially places that your website is listed, kind of like online directories, so like Yelp and things of that nature. They are citations. This guy could have more citations than this. I do have tools to research all this. But for the sake of keeping this video short and to the point, I won't go into it too much. I can do if you'd like me to. But essentially, down the line, let's say if this guy has 50 and this guy has 60, then I'd come in and I'd do like 200. You know, I'd knock these guys out the park. You know, they wouldn't even know what hit them. I can't guarantee you'd go bump straight onto number 1. Again, it would take time. But I believe I could definitely get you in the top 3 here. And that is what matters the most. That'd get you a lot more work. So I'd get your website up here, and then your website would come in here down the line. This is the work that I could do for you. I feel like this would be hugely valuable to you. So you're probably wondering what my fee is, how long this will take for me to get to work and everything like that. My fee for this is more than I would have charged for the Google Ads, because it is a lot more work. I've only scratched the surface on the work that I would be doing for you. So my fee is £1,000 a month. This includes everything though. So this is the total build out of the site. It includes all the pictures that be going onto the site. So it's probably not the best example, but pictures that are on the site. Well, actually, to be honest, your competition haven't used great pictures, but yeah, it includes, so I say like this back picture, it includes stuff like this, you know, everything which you normally have to pay for all these. They're normally about like 20 quid each. It includes all that stuff. It includes the total build out of your site. It includes it being mobile friendly, it being a modern look. It includes me writing a lot of content. That is like where I'd be focusing the first a month to 6 weeks. I'd say a good estimate for the website building would be about 4 to 6 weeks. Then it would also include me coming into the backlinking side of everything, getting your trust flow up. I'd also be doing blogging and everything. Essentially, when I was saying about the trust flow, you can't just come in and have websites that are doing it's very complex, but essentially the thing that gives you the most juice, you can't just have a ton of websites doing that specific thing all the time. That is kind of a red flag to Google. So I would also have to write blogs and things like that to kind of water down the kind of how strong you're coming onto Google. It'd have to be it'd have to look more natural, is the best way to put it. So there'd be a lot of work involved throughout. To be honest, so that's why my fee is 1,000 versus the 250 that I said for the paid advertising. Saying that, I feel this is going to be a lot more valuable to you, because you won't be paying per lead you get. You'd be paying for you'd just be paying my fee to keep you up here. It would be an ongoing fee. I wouldn't recommend you getting rid of me in like a few months, because you'll start going down the list again, essentially. So my fee would kind of be, I'd keep you up here, and if you're up here through the winter, definitely you'd have a ton of work. Through the summer, like, you would have definitely more work than you normally would, because if somebody needs a plumber, we all kind of know plumbers, electricians, all things like that, that a lot of people do go on to Google. They do type in something like the area they're in and plumber, or they'll type in something like plumbers near me, and when they do, the work that I'd be doing would get you seen. You know, at the moment you don't really have much online presence, other than if somebody was to go on to Check a Trade and find you specifically on that website. But I'd get you up here like straight away. So somebody'd have to type in Basingstoke plumber, then they'd have to go on to Check a Trade, then they'd have to find you on Check a Trade, or they already know you for a friend or something like that. I'd make it so you're seen. I don't just sell the idea of just a website. I consider myself an advisor as well, and I feel it'd be wrong for me to just build you out, say, a website like this, and then kind of leave you hanging. Because the truth is, you would be over here on, like, I'm just going to pick any sort of number. I'm just going to say page 7. And like, you'd be over here somewhere. Yeah, you know, you'd be. Some people have websites built and they're on like page 40. You know, because they're trapped. Somebody sold them a basic website. I'm not saying this, but they've sold them a very all right, let's just say this website over here. They've sold them a basic website, and it gets stuck for a long time. I have many other tools I haven't gone into. For example, I've got this tool right here. So I can tell. So one of the reasons this website is popping up on Google on the first page is because this website was bought in 2008. And an old website is a very a Google-like old websites. So the reason they are probably popping up is because they've been around for 10 years. It's a terrible website, to be honest, but it's been here for 10 years. So, you know, Google have gone, all right, you've been around for 10 years, so you've earned yourself a place over here. Don't let this worry you, because Google, this is only one thing Google considers when determining where a website is ranked. I can definitely outrank this website, no problem whatsoever. I know I'm going back and forth a little bit, but I just wanted to explain that the website I'm building you, I'm not building to say look pretty. Basically what I do is I build a website to be effective, and I want a website to pop up here, get in here, which this would be a bit more other stuff. Like I said, I haven't gone into too much detail on here, but I want to get you a website that comes up here, that gets you a ton of work. You know, this is kind of just the stuff that would really, all that matters is I'm getting you more work. You don't care where your website is. You don't really, I'm sure you don't really care what your website overly looks like. You just want more work. You know, I completely understand that. I completely get that. My family have been in business for a very long time. My dad's been in business for over 40 years. I actually made my first sale when I was 7 years old for £100. So I know business. I know you need. I know all that really matters is your phone's ringing, and that's what I do. I getting your website up here is just the necessary thing to get your phone to ring. That's all that really matters. So anyway, as I said, my fee is £1,000 a month. The work I do, I believe it will be worth it to you in the long run. It will take a bit of time. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to give me a call, and I will try my hardest to explain everything in as much detail as I can. In terms of when I can go to work on this, I can get to work straight away. Once I receive first payment for the first month, I will get straight to work. I'll start building you out a website. As I said, it would take around about 4 to 6 weeks. There is a lot of work involved in it. But yeah, once I receive payment, I'll get straight to work. And then once that's done, I'll get straight into the backlinking side of things. So if it is something that you're interested in, please let me know. If you could let me know within the next few days, that'd be fantastic. Or if you wanted to take the weekend to think about things, that's also fine. But I wouldn't leave it too long, simply because I do have a bit of time to take on some clients. So I am looking to build a few clients, and I really want to kind of be filled out by the new year. So I'm prospecting a few clients, sending them this sort of video. Not in this area in Basingstoke. You are my first choice. I'm not proposing this to anybody else in Basingstoke, unless of course you said that you wasn't interested. Then I would respectfully see if there's anybody else in the area that is, simply because there is a great opportunity here for me to help a client. So if you wasn't interested, that's absolutely fine. But the other thing that is great is we are a good time frame from the summer. So I'd like to think that by the time you get to the summer, you're up here. As I said, it could take longer, but I reckon by the summer, you should be doing very well. So please do let me know if you're interested, and if you're not interested, please just give me a courtesy message, call, and just say that you're not too interested in this, which is not a problem whatsoever. It's just I'd like to know out of courtesy. I did give you that lead free up front. There's absolutely no obligation. That lead's completely yours. I'm not asking for any money. I just wanted to prove that I can get you more work, and of course now I believe that is not the right route for you, simply because it did cost too money for what I know what you're going to want to spend. And I did try for like the past week just to see if I could get that down to a price that you'd be more happy with, and it's not going to happen. There's too much competition by these big companies, but here there is a massive opportunity for you to take over. So I won't go on anymore. If you have any questions, please do let me know, and I'll talk to you soon. Thank you. Goodbye.